Hi guys, welcome. Today, something a little bit different. The following video would have been 55 minutes, but I'm going to break it up into 3 parts. I'm going to release one today, and then tomorrow, and then the day after, so you'll get them all over the weekend. So enjoy. I'll hand you over to Pasty. Welcome back to Qtronics, where I have all the gear and no idea. So today, what are we looking at? So we're going to be looking at a Nintendo Switch V1. So recently, a friend of mine reached out to me and asked if I could take a look at this V1 for him. I think it's an unpatched one. Basically, he said it's his cousin's and they stuck the charger in one day and it stopped working. So I said, yeah, bring it down, I'll take a look. So before we even open this, in my mind, I think it's possibly an M92 or a BQ chip. First of all, though, let's make sure it's actually not turning on and they haven't sold me, well, they haven't sent me a dud. So it's turning on. And we've got 14.61 volts and a draw of about 0.11 amps. There's no indication on screen that it's working, so possibly a short somewhere. That's quite a low draw. I mean, I assume the battery would be dead by now, but I'd expect the screen to come on to say it's charging. Yeah, we're getting the same level of draw on the back, and we're not getting anything. Right then, guys, I'm going to open it up, and we'll get down to the board, and we'll have a look. Right then, guys, we're down to the board now. On first inspection, you can't see anything wrong with this board at all. There's no water damage. The port looks pretty good as far as I can tell. We will get that under the scope in a second though, just in case it is a port issue. But as you can see, this board looks really clean. First things first, let's poke around the M92 actually, and see if we're getting any shorts. Right, I'm going to adjust this camera so you can see better. So yeah, as I said, it looks pretty clean, so I'm not sure what's going on. I don't think the fuse will have blown because I don't think it would charge at all then. But let's check that first. So the fuse is just here above the port. So one part on ground. You know what, guys? I'm going to get the scope out just so we can see a little bit better. Make sure I'm on the points properly. So bear with me 2 seconds and I'll have the scope. Right, so just so you can see what we've tested so far. Come up here by the port. This little fuse down here. So it's having a little visual inspection. And it all looks really clean. So let's start testing a few things around. That's the M92 chip. Now, as far as I'm aware from all the videos I've ever watched on this little resistor here, this one here, if that is shorted, the CPU is knackered as far as I've been told. So let's test that one first. And if it is, we're just going to leave it. And if it isn't, we can carry on. So one probe on ground. Just try and get the clearest image for you. There we go. Okay, so that's not short. Let's check elsewhere around here then now. See if we have any other shorts. I'm not seeing any shorts around there. Right then, let's have a look at the BQ chip on the other side. Where's the BQ chip down there? Sorry. Let me look. This is the BQ down here, sorry. So, by the port to the right. I'm thinking of a switch light. Right, everything's all over the shop. Right, let's check for shorts around here then. So, continuity. I'm not seeing any shorts around there either. Let's try around the USB chip then. You know what? Let me double check that port because you know what? I didn't check it, did I? So let's double check the port because it'd be really funny now if I've done all that and it's actually the port. That's the problem. Let me just get the port tester out and see what's going on here. No, that looks like that's coming back with all the correct values to me. Let's plug it into the amp meter and see what it's saying because this feels very strange. Oh, there's definitely a short somewhere. Looks like it's pulling 0.46. Let's get it back in the case enough to test, and let's see what's going on here. Right, if I remember right, down here is the backlight. So we just plug the bare basics in. Let's see if we're just stuck in RCM mode. I think some of the pins in this connector have gone. Right, let's get that back under the scope and let's have a look at that. Maybe this was a screen issue. Maybe someone's had it open and it's actually a screen issue. I mean, it looked pretty sealed to me, so it might just be that unplugging that has done that. But let's have a quick look. Right. Yep, a couple of those pins have moved. Well, that's annoying. Let's see if we can pop them back in place. That might be enough for me to get that screen back in there. Might just get away with it. Cool. Right then, let's give this a test and see if it's in RCM mode. I'm not sure, so we'll find out. The next issue will be if we even have enough battery, so let's find out. I don't know if that's just charging the battery really slowly. Let me see how much battery's in this. Let me see how much voltage is in this battery, and we'll go from there. Right, we're on volts DC. I think we're pretty much flat, which is really annoying. Just gonna see if I've got a battery lying around. I don't, unfortunately. Right, I'm gonna leave it to charge for a little bit. I'll be back in a minute when it's charged a little bit, see if anything happens. Right, catch you in a sec. Right guys, I'm back. So I left it charging for a little bit, and as you can see, it's jumped up to 0.46 amps, which I think that was what was reading when the board was off. So I'm not actually sure what's going on. I'm going to take it out and let's plug the board in just with the amp meter, and we'll see if there's any hot spots. Back of this board does feel warm. So what are we drawing now? So we're drawing 0.46. I'm going to get the flare one out and let's have a look what's going on when it connects. So let's turn it on. Just unplug this a second while it's back of that board does feel warm. Just wait for this to connect. Right, it's connecting. So let's plug in and see if we get any hotspots. That does look like the BQ chip. Sorry, let me zoom in for you guys. So when I hold this over, the only thing getting warm is down here. I've moved my camera away. That's the BQ chip. I'm just going to flip it over just in case it's on the bottom of the board. So it's saying something down this area. Right then, let's turn the flare cam off and let's have a look. Now, the issue I'm going to have is there's a nice little piece of plastic here right next to the BQ chip, and I'm going to struggle to get underneath here. So I need to just think of the best possible way for me to do this without burning that connector. Especially because there's an LED underneath it as well. I'm going to try wrapping some Captain tape and some aluminium tape around it, and we'll see if that works. If not, I have a spare connector, so we might just have to solder a connector back on at the end. Hoping that's enough for us to get away with it. Right, I'm going to come in a little bit cooler than I normally would. I'm going to try and warm around the board first, and see what happens. Right, let's get the scope out. Right, I'm just going to see which way this is aligned. I think pin 1 is probably down here. Yeah, it is, look. Pin 1's pointing down to this triangle. Right then, I'm going to come in with heat. I'm going to start at 300 with about 50% airflow, just to get the board warm, and then we'll move up from there. The new BQ chip. So it's going to sit in like that. I'm going to get the heat back on this and see if I can get it to melt, and then once it's melted, we'll bring the airflow speed down a bit. Give that a bit of time to cool down. I think we look okay there. Right, I think the board's cooled down enough now. Let's see what happens when we plug the amp meter in. Right, it might just blow up now in my hands, so fun times.
Excellent.
Let me see what the flare cam says now. It still seems to be the BQ chip's getting hot, doesn't it? It does still seem like the BQ is getting hot. So, could it be this little transistor down here? I mean, the other thing I could try while I'm here, while I've got the heat gun out, is we try swapping out M92. But again, I didn't see any shorts anywhere, so I'm not quite sure what's going on there. Anyway, should we take off our silver and see if we've messed that connector up badly? I was going to say the connector doesn't look that bad, but I think it's burnt to shizzle. Yeah, definitely. Is it even still closed? It does, so, you know, technically speaking, that's probably alright. I'm going to clean this off with some IPA, because it's really, really sticky. I mean, that might work, that might not work, I'm not even sure. So that might be something we have to replace. But all in all, I think the BQ chip did get changed. But the only thing I can think of is we change the M92 while we're here. And let's see what happens. I think that's the last thing currently I can think of. As you can see, I did knock those 2 resistors at the top here. So we'll get them back. We'll get them back first, and then we'll get the new M92 on. Now I'm going to get the soldering on it, and I'm going to tin these pads a little bit, just to make it a little bit easier for me. Right, I'm happy with that. Obviously, let's get rid of the solder balls. Right then, I'm happy with that. Let's let it cool down ever so slightly, and I'll clean it up, and then we'll see what we're reading there. So 1 probe on ground, and let's check. Okay, I think that looks all good. Right, let's plug the multimeter in there and see what. Well, let's plug the amp meter in and see if there's any change now. Oh, fingers crossed. Well, that's definitely a change because it doesn't work at all now. It's still pulling 0.47. I'm not sure if that port's messed up, you know? Like, why is that only working one way? Oh, we've lost a pin there. On the front side. Which is rather interesting. Let me just double check that there's no... I've not knocked anything off on the board. So let's have a look. Before I solder this M92 back on, I'm very interested to see what the USB tester says while the M92 is off. So maybe I'm being silly and maybe it's just a port. So we get 2 broken ones with the M92 off. So yeah, so that means probably was the M92 not being soldered back on properly, which is fun. So what happened there was, guys, is my tweezers clipped together and sent the resistor who bloody knows where. So at this moment in time, I have no idea where that resistor's gone, which is awesome. So if I can have a quick look. Right, I'm just going to have a quick look at how this is looking now, and then I'll get a donor board to find those resistors. I think that's looking better. I mean, that's not lined up at all, so let's just see if I can reflow this while we're here. It at least looks in the right place now. But that definitely needs squashing down. Yep. Okay, right guys, I'm going to take a little break. I'll come back in a bit, and I'll see you shortly.
No, never give up, never surrender.
Right guys, we're back. I've had a break, I've had a drink, got myself some refreshment. So, where we left this was the MT92. It definitely needs pushing down more. So let's try and get it pushed down, and we'll go from there and see if that fixes it. If not, I think it might be a case of changing the USB port. But this is the last thing I'm going to do for today. So I'll probably have a crack at this, and then we'll move on for another day. For you, it'll be the same video, but for me, I'm going to have a little day's rest and maybe read up on it a bit more. I'm going to try and fix the board down this time, so it's a bit easier for us. Easier for you to see, easier for me to work on. it's not constantly moving. And obviously I'm going to need to try and get that resistor back that I knocked off, or cap, or whatever it is. Right then, let's get a bit of flux and have a go. Right guys, I'm going to leave it where it is for now. We'll discuss about it later. I need to finish for the day now, unfortunately. So I'll catch you later on in the video. You'll see it as one video. See you in a bit.
Don't ever let somebody tell you you can't do something. Not even me.
Right guys, as I said, it's going to be 3 parts. That's the ending of part 1. Honestly, I struggled so much through this, so please like and subscribe. And obviously in the comments, let me know anything I did wrong at this point. You will get the other 2 parts, with part 2 dropping tomorrow. Right, see ya.